Let's get dangerous.
Dun, dun.
Listening to the Sportz Nutz.
Welcome all. This is the most interactive sports talk show ever. This is the Sportz Nutz. We made it to a very special event. We made it to 200 episodes. Before we go to our introductions, let's give a round of a warm welcome to everybody who is tuning in on 95.5. KFCE and TigerNation.live, as well as the other 38 countries we air in. Thank you guys so much. My man sitting next to me, as Matt liked to so eloquently we call us, I can't talk today, the Three Musketeers. Matt, we made it, man. We're at 200, dude. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I believe the proper word you were looking for was eloquently.
Yes.
Eloquently. Nah, man. Yeah, man. Episode 200. Hey, guys, it is what it is. This is where we're at. Let's get to 300.
That's right. And my man sitting below me, Shane Owen, man. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, man, doing good, man. Great to say that we've made 200 episodes. Seems like just a couple of days ago we were on number one. So, man, it's been a great journey, and glad to get here, and man, ready to get into this special episode that we have going on.
That's right. We are beyond excited for tonight. Tonight's episode is that of epic proportions. We have our good friend Tony Gladstone of the Wire to Wire Sports Network on to talk about the World Baseball Classic, to talk Major League Baseball spring training. He's going to give us his sleepers and also update on the Women's Professional Baseball League. And then afterwards, we still have a sports talk show to talk about. So you got the sports, we got the news. We are going to be talking about basketball, baseball, football, hockey, and anything else we can imagine. So with that being said, also let everybody know tonight is a 2-hour episode. We are beyond excited we made it to 200. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Tony, man, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, I am so glad to be here. Thank you for the honor of being a part of the 200th episode, and congratulations to you guys on that monumental achievement. It's so hard to stick with something, especially that many times. And kudos to you guys for having to put up with this guy. Like that in and of itself.
I was about to say I had to put up with Matt.
That in and of itself is a monumental achievement. Congratulations, guys.
I've actually had to deal with Matt for, 23 years now, right?
If only you knew.
Oh my goodness, man. I'm so happy to have you back, brother. We really appreciate you. You know, Tony, it's here. Friday, March the 6th, Team USA's pool play gets underway against Brazil. I know you sent me a screen and I couldn't save it and put it on there. But can you please let everybody know about what to expect with the World Baseball Classic? And also maybe share some of your thoughts about what to expect this go around.
Man, I'm so excited for the World Baseball Classic. I'm really glad that this is continuing on. It's like a World Cup of baseball. And so you do get the pool play to start things out, and all the countries that are participating, which I believe there's 20 that are participating, and the pool play split up over about a week. Top 2 teams from each pool are going to go into the actual quarterfinals and the tournament, and we'll see the finals middle to a little later in March, second half of March, and then give everybody time for the MLB players to get back to their teams to finish up spring training before the season starts end of March, beginning of April.
Nice. Shane, you have a question, man. Go ahead, brother.
Oh yeah, well, this World Baseball Classic, it's kind of full of a lot of great players representing their countries. We just watched the Olympics, so it's all about players representing their individual countries and all. But we've seen that they do have an MVP award they give out. What are some of the names that you're looking like are going to be at the top of that list going into this World Baseball Classic?
It's that's a really good question, and there is a lot of MLB talent going into this World Baseball Classic. I think one of the things that's going to open this up a little bit, Shohei Ohtani is not going to be pitching in the Classic. He is only going to be a DH. I think they've said something about possibly one start as a pitcher, but his roster slot is specifically as of right now, as a DH. So I think that does kind of open things up a little bit, because when you've got a two-way guy, it's instantly going to lean his way. So when we look beyond that, the level of talent that's going into this series is just ridiculous. I have to say that I really do like Team USA's roster this year. I think that it's definitely built to compete more. And with a lot of these guys that are on the other nations' teams, because a lot of them are MLB players, they know each other. So I think things are a little bit more balanced than they were last time, because Japan has more players in the US. I really like the US to make a huge impact. I could see Cal Raleigh showing up here. If his back gets good, especially against some of these pitchers that have never seen an MLB player, I think Cal Raleigh sends several home runs into the stands during this World Baseball Classic. And I think that as when you look at the rest of the infield, just the infield for Team USA includes Alex Bregman, Paul Goldschmidt, Bryce Harper, Gunnar Henderson. There's just Bobby Witt Jr. It is stacked. And so I would say either Cal Raleigh or Bobby Witt Jr. are probably going to be my favorites for the MVP. And I really like Team USA as a whole in this tournament.
Let's switch up a little bit, Tony. I'm so excited to say this. Spring training. Dadgum, it's so good to say baseball is back. What has had your eye most this spring training? I know it's still young, but what has had your eye that makes you sit there and say, man, this is going to be a really exciting baseball season just because I've seen blankety, blankety, blank and XYZ?
I think that one of the things that we're going to see out of the start of this season that I've already kind of seen that it's kind of hard to say with just specifically spring training, but also factoring as we're just talking about the World Baseball Classic. I think that we're going to see a lot of offense to start the season because you're going to have pitchers that are worn out from the World Baseball Classic and having to be at 100% at that point, or at least close to it, to be able to compete. Well, then now you have all these other guys that are still trying to ramp up. And so I think that we see a lot of offense out of that. And I really think that we see the true impact of the new ABS challenge system that's coming to Major League Baseball this year, where players are going to be able to challenge ball and strike. There was a spring training game the other day where there was 5 in a row that were challenged and overturned. Like this, it's already making an impact in baseball. And I think that we're going to see some teams look really good in spring training and fall flat. I think we're going to see the Astros start a little hotter this year than they have in years past. They're normally kind of a slow rolling team. They're going to look good coming out of the gate, but they're going to struggle later on. I think the A's are actually probably going to be the best team coming out of spring training. There's a lot of young talent on that team, really good talent, but they're young. And so as a result, it's going to sputter off. But I think we're just going to see a lot of energy coming out of spring training this year, especially because the anxiety with the CBA negotiations coming up. It's going to be an interesting start to the year for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little nerve wracking. I actually asked this to Shane the other day. I said, "What are your feelings on the possibility of having a strike after this year?" And he said, "Shane, what did you say? You're part of it, but you saw what happened. What did you say exactly about the strike?"
Yeah, it's going to be a serious strike, but it's always they're going to find ways to get people back involved into the game. Like you saw the Roy there take off, once that strike ended. So that's kind of, I was able to go through that and kind of was that, baseball really wasn't that fun to watch until the strike happened, and then they, baseball let some things slide, the booster ratings. So that's kind of, I grew up in that era, so it was fun to watch, but it's just kind of crazy to see the repeat cycle that we all go through, every 20-30 years or something like
So
that.
it's so funny you say that. The rinse, repeat, and rinse, cycle, repeat. That's literally what it feels like. And Tony, I told this to Shane. I told this to Matt's going to come back. He actually had his power went out and came back on, so he's letting back up. But I said this to him, and I said, I feel like just when either the threat of a strike ends or a strike ends, we have to worry about the next one starting, and then the next one, and then the next one. It's like, when is enough is enough is enough, and it just it beats us sports fans up because we don't get the chance to enjoy, because you have to worry about, oh God, the next CBA is coming to an end. I mean, we're going through the situation right now with the WNBA about, we have no clue what's going to happen. Most likely it is going to be a strike. But then, then there's the talks about the baseball. Well, then also people don't realize that the NFL is coming up in a couple of years. Then the NBA is coming up in a couple of years. Then the NHL starts doing it. It's like, enough, Shane, go ahead, man.
Oh yeah, well, it's great that you mentioned some of the young players during spring training, especially with the A's and all. But I want to focus on one in particular that caught my eye. Mr. Connor Griffin could possibly be the first teenager we've seen in the majors in a long, long time. He doesn't turn 20, I think, until into April sometime. So, but he popped off 2 home runs. As you said, offense has been a big key this spring training. With him doing that feat at such a young age, and he looks like a major league guy already at that age. Just want to get your thought on him and maybe some of the other great prospects that are going through spring training right now.
Connor Griffin is special. It's I don't think people realize just how hard it is to be 19 and ready to step up on the big stage. And regardless of the fact, what program he's in, because he's with the Pirates, I feel like the truth of the matter is, when you can get to the pro level and be recognized at the pro level at that kind of age, it's a remarkable achievement. I love Connor Griffin. I think he does make his MLB debut this year. I don't know that it's until September call-ups, but I would expect Pittsburgh to pull that trigger at some point, maybe because of injury or whatever else. And we get to see him on the world stage. I think that the youth of the A's, going back to that, to me is extremely underrated, because their lineup, the bulk of the talent of that lineup is all under the age of 25 or right at it. And especially when you look at guys like Nick Kurtz and
Brett Roker,
Jacob Wilson, like, so much talent there.
I'm just going to put this out there. Oakland, Las Vegas, whatever you want to call yourselves. There is this one player. We all know him very well, Brett Roker. He could come to Atlanta. You guys like to trade with Atlanta for some reason. So y'all can take Sean Murphy back, and we'll take Brett Roker off of your hands. Just throwing that out there. We have to deal with the fact that he is Mr. Injury prone, and it's kind of getting annoying. So, Tony, with all these moves that have taken place this offseason for every team of baseball, what are your favorites to challenge you're going to love this name I have for them, The quote, buy here, pay here, LA Dodgers. Someone has to give them a run for their billions, right?
Absolutely. And I think that there's a couple of teams that I think that are really going to put pressure on the Dodgers this year. I think out of the American League, the Blue Jays have only gotten better. And I think that for that it is entirely possible that we see a repeat World Series of what we had last year with the opposite outcome. I really like how the Blue Jays have continued to develop and grow. They didn't just mope, they grow. I also think that on the National League side, I think our NLCS matchup is the Cubs and the Dodgers. And if that team stays healthy, I can argue the Dodgers doing well. A lot of it comes down to results and pitching, but I think the Cubs match up better with the Dodgers than a lot of people realize, and I think that they've built that. I think the addition of Alex Bregman, which hurt me as a Sox fan, but I have a lot of friends that are Cubbies fans, and they're ecstatic to see him. He's a great bat. If he can get his defense back at third and stay healthy, that is probably the best lineup in baseball, top to bottom. And it's solid comparison.
Very
Solid
true.
comparison.
Look who's back. Matt, go ahead, man. You got your first question. Go ahead, man.
All right, well, I'm gonna go 3-2-1 on this one as far as the topics. Yeah, man. Speaking of the Dodgers, man, you know, the buy here, pay here. LA Dodgers are basically, baseball super team right now. But if someone does knock them off, does it happen in a 5-game series where randomness plays a factor, or does it take another juggernaut built specifically to match the rotation and lineup depth? And also, give me this, man. Is there any weakness on that roster?
The Dodgers are an interesting team because there's so much where you can look at them from a surface level and just think that they are this stout, deep team. The truth of the matter is they haven't made a lot of changes from last year, and they were a very weak team last year. They just got hot at exactly the right time. I think that with the Dodgers, your struggling issue is consistency, and if you can keep them from getting into that groove when it matters, I think that we're going to see. I do think we see some regression from some of these guys this year, especially if you look at some of the older ones like Mookie Betts. There is and Max Muncy.
What did you just say? Mookie Betts.
Listen, as a Red Sox fan, I love Mookie, but he's getting up there in age, and that man has spent so much time in the playoffs. He's played at least an extra season over his career over other players in that same time span because of his consistency in the playoffs, and that wears down on you in any sport. And you look at Max Muncy, he spent a lot of time in the postseason. That's a lot of extra games, and baseball already plays 162 a year. And these are guys that try to play as many games as possible. You're not load managing Mookie Betts very often. You might give him a game off every 50 or 100, like once or twice a year. You go ahead and give him a game off. But Mookie wants to be out on that field, and I respect it. I love Mookie Betts. I am a big Mookie Betts fan. My other Red Sox jersey is a Mookie Betts jersey. For me, though, some of the age of their interior and the lack of they didn't make enough of an improvement in their pitching department, especially with their bullpen. Because right now, if Shohei goes down or if Shohei's arm locks up and they need some help, that pitching gets diminished very quickly because they haven't invested in pitching like they need to. And so I would say that if it's not that interior, if those guys stay healthy, their pitching is still a problem. And I think that's what cuts them down because there's a lot of other teams that they can face, even just the aforementioned Blue Jays and Cubs that have solid pitching lineups. And if they're not on, they're not moving on. And I could see the Cubs beating them in a 5-game series, and I could see the Jays beating them in 7. It may take 6 or 7, but I think the Jays play a different game when they come back in the next time if they face the Dodgers in the World Series.
Before I go to Shane, I'm going to ask you this. Could this be a case of too much of one thing can hurt them? Because, I mean, the Dodgers, they've bought literally the entire roster of everybody. But, I've always heard, and I've seen it happen, there's always a thing, it's too much of one thing. could this be a case for the Dodgers that they have too much of a quote unquote the good thing and it comes to bite them in the backside?
Absolutely. I think that's 100% a possibility. In any sports team, when you're at the professional level, the head coach's job, in this case, Dave Roberts, is to manage egos. And you're now looking at a situation where you have 26 distinct egos on that roster. And this isn't MLB The Show. This isn't Madden. This isn't 2K. This isn't NHL. This is real life. And if you're going to sit there and grab onto these things, not taking that into account, you're going to see your team struggle. Like on Sports Report on Monday, we were talking about how when we look at the NFL draft, the first to 15, those more consistently fail than 16 to 32, because 16 to 32 have better coaching situations, better staffing. They're more shopping for a player that's a culture fit versus a player that's a position fit. And when you focus just on the position fit and not on the culture fit, your team will lose more often than not. It will come back to bite them. It's just a matter of when.
I like that. All right, Shane, go ahead. Go ahead, Shane.
Oh yeah, well, as you've alluded to it, and as we know, you're a big Sox fan. So I want to kind of get your thoughts and all on this AL East race that we're going to see between the Sox, the Yankees, and the Jays, and see kind of. I know we know where your heart is, but kind of where does your mind tell you to go?
I genuinely feel like this season is going to be one of those years where the AL East is just locked up, like neck and neck through the top 4 teams, because you're right. You're going to see competition out of Boston, New York, and Toronto, but Baltimore got Pete Alonso. Baltimore's got a couple of players that are coming back from injury. I think there may be a little bit of a late start. We might not see them really start to pop off till closer to the end of May. But Baltimore has a lot of talent. The reason we didn't see them make as much of a splash last year was purely due to injury. If you remove that obstacle this year, Baltimore is pressing for that division just as much as Boston, New York, and Toronto are. And so I think it comes down to injury. I think it comes down to reliability. So I think that definitely takes New York out of the race. I'm sorry, but until they get better coaching and develop some actual consistency, I'm going to keep talking trash. That's just the way life is. New York, you want me to stop? Come shut me up. When we look at the other 3 teams, Toronto is obviously the best built. And I think that they're the favorite to win the division for a reason, because they just got better in the offseason. But I do believe that Boston is quietly building using young talent and not just grabbing, because if you look at like the deal that Bregman signed for Chicago, he got overpaid. Rafi Devers got overpaid. They got rid of that contract. They're not trying to overpay players anymore. They're trying to pay them correctly. And I don't hate that. My only concern is Marcelo Meyer for Boston. I think he's a weak point because of his injury proneness. That's why I still stick with Toronto taking the division. But I do believe that Boston and Baltimore are fighting for 2 of those wild card sleeps in the American League.
I like that, and I mean, really, you can kind of start seeing like the separations already. You know what I mean? And it's pretty interesting. All right, Matt, unmute your mic and go ahead.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, man. I kind of want to go back to want to talk about this, man. Every year we kind of fall in love with somebody, in March that either becomes a star or disappears by June. Who was a young player this spring, that you believe isn't just having a few hot weeks, but is actually, about to arrive this season?
This is another AL East division rival for me. Chandler Simpson on the Tampa Bay Rays. He very quietly hit 300 last year in his rookie season over a stretch of 104 games. Over 400 ABs, he still averaged 295. The fact that he wasn't a hotter commodity in the offseason surprises me. But I think that as we look at how he starts off this season, which he's already started off pretty well, he's gotten a few hits and really getting going. I think that we see him build and develop that consistency, and he's going to benefit from the fact that he's facing some of the toughest lineups in baseball in the American League East, because all of those teams are built to compete in the playoffs, and with the exception of the Rays. So as you look at that, his talent level is going to develop, and we're going to see him blossom into a very good looking player that you could see move at the deadline. If he's hitting north of 290 going into the deadline, you're going to see a team that really needs him make a move. And it's hard to say who that's going to be now, just simply because of the fact that you don't know what's going to happen with injuries and stuff like that. But a left fielder that has speed and has a solid bat, there's probably 20 teams in Major League Baseball that could benefit from that. So I really think Chandler Simpson starts to blossom this year and really capture some attention. And I really hope he does, because I have a couple first off the line rookie cards of his that I would like to see turn into some, some vacation money.
Amen to that one. All right, so Tony, with the news that the Kansas City Royals, Chicago White Sox, and the Minnesota Twins all possibly relocating to new cities, more so the Chicago White Sox and the Royals than the Twins, do you think we will see Rob Manfred and the league finally get the ball rolling, and we maybe see if not one, two more expansion teams in the coming years?
I think MLB expansion is inevitable. It's just a matter of when. I don't think it happens in Rob Manfred's tenure. He is thankfully not going to be renewing his contract in 2029. He's already said he'll be stepping down at that time. So congratulations to baseball fans. We're almost free of his tenure. I do think that the expansion happens. The Royals are just moving. If anything, they're just moving to the other side of the river, going over into KCK. They're not going anywhere outside of that area. They don't need to. They have a steady support and a great culture. There's a good Royals fans are good people. It's a good ballpark. I think that continues. I do believe that the White Sox move, and I think they're the team that gets put in Nashville, and that will happen. That won't happen in Manfred's tenure either, because it hasn't been talked about a lot, but Justin Ishbia, brother of Matt Ishbia, owner of the Phoenix Suns, signed a deal last year, late in 2025, where he is essentially going to end up taking over ownership of the Chicago White Sox. He's already got a stake. It's going to kind of steadily grow. And then basically in 2029 is when he can buy the team completely. And that will be, at that point be out from under Jerry Reinsdorf. And I expect at that time, almost immediately after Justin Ishbia takes over, they're going to announce they're looking at options to move. And that's when we will find out that Nashville is getting a baseball team shortly thereafter. As far as any other expansion, I think the next commissioner will be brought in to assist with that. Where it goes, Montreal still wants baseball back. Salt Lake City wants a team. Oklahoma City wants a team. I don't think they can support it. They struggle to support the Dodgers AAA team sometimes. So I'm not certain that Oklahoma City gets a team. It's possible we see something else pop up in the Northeast just because of the proximity to the other teams, but it's really hard to say. I think we end up with two teams more on the West side, like maybe because we got the A's going to Vegas. Maybe San Antonio does get a professional team, and like I said, Salt Lake City. So the expansion will happen. I think it's 10, maybe 15 years out, though.
The cities that I've heard, I've heard it regularly in the West, is Salt Lake. Salt Lake City is by far the one. I've also heard Portland. And the Portland has the Portland Pickles. I've heard them mentioned many a times. I just don't know if I can see it. But then the one other international city that I've heard in the West a lot mentioned is Vancouver. I've heard a lot of people say Vancouver. And, in Vancouver, they've gotten the short straw in a lot of things. I mean, they had the Vancouver Grizzlies. They were abysmal. They ended up going to Memphis, which is weird. They go from one part of the country to the other part of the country, and they're still the Grizzlies. But then, I've also heard that the Buffalo Bison have been mentioned. I've heard that name mentioned a couple of times. I'd be okay seeing another New York franchise, but then it comes to the question of weather. Buffalo's weather is extremely unpredictable, and I don't think I don't think they have the support that they need just quite yet. And I mean, I'm not dogging the Bison at all. I think that's a fantastic name, by the way. It's a great name for a baseball program, but it's just there's so many variables that have to come into play. You know, the magic number is 36 for a lot of teams. I mean, I've even heard the number 40 has started being floated around. That's when you get too much.
Yeah.
You know, and we just mentioned is the Dodgers. There's too much of a thing. There really is too much, too fast. Eventually, I could see, you know, way down the line, we could see one day where we have 50 Major League Baseball teams, 50 NBA teams, 50 basketball teams, 50 football teams, soccer, whatever. I see it coming eventually, just not right now. So Shane, go ahead, man.
Oh yeah, well, as we know, the past couple of weeks, the Major League Baseball Players Association has been kind of in turmoil with Clark resigning, and Bruce Meyer's been named the chief in charge now. What are your thoughts on him and his kind of players, kind of a passionate player approach that he does have? And, you know, especially seeing where it may lead up going into CBA talks in December.
So a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing from players about Bruce Meyer is that he was unanimously elected for a reason. And he has a lot of experience specifically in dealing with players' unions, and that gives him an advantage. Tony Clark, when he got elected, it was very much a case of the fact that he was a former player and a lot of guys liked him. But Tony Clark didn't have experience on the business side of what it means to run a players' union. Bruce Meyer does. And so I think that definitely works into the players' benefits in that regard, because he does have that experience and he can be ready to sit down and get to work. And I don't think that it changes the outcome of there being a lockout. I think a lockout is inevitable, but I do think that he aids in the process, and I think that he makes an impact on how long the lockout is.
I can see. I absolutely, LeBron. I absolutely can see that. Matt, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So, you know, speaking of lockouts and everything like that, man. As far as the MLB goes, do you? This is kind of I don't want to say it's a loaded question, but do you kind of how can the MLB market its stars as far as NBA or, you know, NFL, you know, the way they market their stars? Will we see MLB ever market their stars like that? Is there anything that shows that that's the direction they'll take, or are they just going to continue to kind of stay where they are and just kind of tread with their head above water?
I think that the MLB definitely has a problem with how it markets its stars. One of the things that a lot of people don't talk about with how much money the Dodgers have to be able to do what they're doing is when they signed Shohei Ohtani, they signed over $1 billion in endorsement deals for Shohei and the Dodgers in Japan alone. That was just international money free that's coming in from endorsements in Japan. The Dodgers made the smart choice, and they are marketing the player. Just like when we saw the WWE start to struggle because Vince tried to pull the brand away from being about the wrestlers and being about the brand. The Major League Baseball has definitely tried to control how players are marketed, and it being more about baseball than about the player or the team or whatever. But this is just another one of those impacts of Shohei Ohtani on baseball. The impact of Shohei Ohtani is it's like Taylor Swift of baseball, because he makes an economic impact wherever he goes. When Shohei Ohtani goes into an opposing team stadium, their ticket sales triple. Even if he's just a DH, there's no prospect of him pitching in a game. That quick. So the league has started to allow that to open up a bit more. But you have quite a few other players, not just on the Dodgers roster, that you can utilize with that. But the league is so focused on the shield that they completely devalue who's holding that shield up. And until they fix that, I think that we're going to see struggles in the marketing. And I think that we're also going to see that as part of the divide between players and ownership as far as like CBA negotiations and discussing how the game of baseball grows. I think if the league caters to the players and markets the personalities of these guys more, we start to see a shift in the players being more willing to listen to the league side and allow the game to grow in a different direction where there's mutual agreement rather than a bunch of infighting that I think takes away from the brand.
I like that. Tony, can you give us what is the latest news about the Women's Professional Baseball League? And do we have any inclination about the next set of expansion cities that they have mentioned could happen within the next couple of years?
Well, with the Women's Professional Baseball League, that league is launching August 1st. It's a 7-week season. There's just the 4 teams, Boston, New York, LA, and San Francisco, playing in Springfield, Illinois. I think that they are going to be in a centralized location for a while as a league until the interest truly generates and grows. I think it's going to be a great product. I think it's just going to take time for people to catch on. I think when we start adding more teams to this, I think that at least one of the next 2 teams that gets added pays respect to the All-American Girls Baseball League that was made famous, that was reincarnated thanks to a league of their own. And we see one of those teams get mentioned. And so when we look at that, we've got the Rockford Peaches, the South Bend Blue Sox, the Racine Bells, and the Kenosha Comets. If they're keeping a location that is going to be central in the Midwest and they're staying in Springfield, all 4 of those teams are actually within about 4 or 5 hours of that location. All 4 of them. So I actually think that one of the ways that they pay a homage, if you will, to that league is one of the next 2 teams is one of them. And then I think that we also see one of the other bigger markets like Florida, Arizona, Texas, possibly Washington, just depending on where they figure out is going to catch the most interest. We'll get a team from one of those states as well, simply because they're going to try and build it out. Maybe like, the Orlando, because Orlando wants a baseball team bad. Orlando wants a baseball team bad. So maybe that's where we see them try to pivot, because like Kansas City wanted a women's soccer team so bad they gave them their own stadium. Maybe that's where we see the first women's baseball stadium, because Orlando wants a team bad. So I like Orlando, and if not Orlando, probably something like Houston or Dallas. And then, kind of just going from there. I think it's going to be a great product. I know the Athletes United Softball League that comes back in June, and I believe they're adding 2 new teams this year. Yes, they're adding 2 new teams this year, and then I think in another 2 years they're adding 2 more, and they're going to start to going more regional play at that point. So women's softball, which I think women's softball has the better product. I think if there's only going to be one of them that takes hold in the professional sports landscape, I think it's Athletes United Softball, just because I think it's truly an untapped market. College softball is the 3rd highest revenue grossing sport in the NCAA. I think that's where the money goes. But I'm interested to see what they do with women's professional baseball and what the product is, because that could make a difference.
I'm excited for it. Shane, go ahead, man.
Oh yeah, well, we saw the news yesterday that the Atlanta Braves are launching their own network, Braves Vision. Do you see, especially with the WGN with the Cubs in the past, do you see other teams maybe going this route to where they basically have control as an organization to their TV rights and all now?
I think that we see something similar happen, because not every team is going to be like, because Boston is on NESN in the Northeast, and the Yankees are on the New York version of that, like those markets are going to gravitate towards that. But when you get out of that area, especially if you look at teams like Arizona that have gone away from their TV deal that they had with their regional sports network, and all these other teams that have done it, there has been a big shift because these networks weren't making enough money. And the teams want that control. Matt Ishbia was a visionary when he made the decision to place all of the Suns home games, or all of the Suns basketball games outside the ones that are on, like, nationally broadcast. They are on a local channel in Arizona. So you can have Rabbitohs on your TV and watch the Suns game if they're playing.
You just totally aced us, by the way.
And so I think that I think that we see more teams make that move simply because of the fact that it gives you more control over the content, and you're able to pull more off of revenue and stuff like that. And I think that helps. I think that helps both sides, especially because of how broadcast TV is struggling. If we see this shift where all of the teams are doing this, NHL, MLB, NBA, and NFL, if they're all making this choice, then you're making the product more accessible. And that just makes it better for the game. So I like to see that, individual networks maybe, but with the way cable TV is changing, I don't know how long that works for Atlanta. I think the better option is just to go with a local established network and build the brand, re-expand the brand, because I like the Braves, but Alex Anthopoulos hasn't exactly been doing a lot of moves this offseason. And I want to say that they're gonna be, they've got a bright future ahead, but it's also kind of hard because of the fact that they're not making moves. They're just relying on people to come back better and hoping that sticks. So is that the kind of product you want to build a network on? This isn't the Yankees or the Red Sox where the fans base is going to be that dedicated that it doesn't matter. Atlanta tends to kind of bounce back and forth with how they feel about their sports teams, especially with how much they've been burned by the Falcons and the Hawks and some of the Braves postseasons. So
tell me about it.
I think that the Braves need to be smart about it if they do the network right, and good for them. But I also feel that going towards broadcast channels is going to be more beneficial for professional sports teams as a whole, and they should be preparing themselves for that.
I like it. All right, Matt, go ahead, man.
Yeah. Again, sorry about that, man. I thought I was on mute. Tony, man, with more wild card spots available, does tanking even make sense anymore? And because now more teams are technically in it longer. So is a full tear down rebuilding still the smartest path, or is a sustainable competitiveness the new model?
I think a lot of teams are trying to build sustainable competitiveness. I think that's why we saw even some of the bigger teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox not make as many aggressive moves in free agency and relying on building their farm system and building talent so that they do have sustainability. And there is a lot of talent in the lower level of the game. We were just talking about Connor Griffin a little while ago. That kid is 19 and MLB ready. There are a plethora of other players in the AAA that, given the right opportunity, and even some in AA, given the right opportunity, they would be able to make an impact in Major League Baseball. So I think that if you can get, I think that if you're a team that wants to actually try, because even if you're just making the playoffs, that's a little extra money. Whether you host a game or not, you're still getting some extra money as a franchise. There's some extra pockets, extra yacht, whatever you want to do. But I think there's always going to be teams that are content being a farm system. As long as Jerry Reinsdorf owns the White Sox, they're a farm system.
What about the Athletics?
The Athletics are quietly building up a roster that when they go into Vegas, they're going to be a competitive team at first. I could see them making some noise this year. I don't know how deep it goes just because they're playing with AAA accommodations, and that wears on a Major League Baseball player, whether they want to admit it or not. I do think, though, that the A's will trade away some guys that most people would consider cornerstone pieces. I can't for the life of me say who. It'll probably be just whoever they get the best offer for. Like if you are to wake up one day and Nick Kurtz had gotten traded or Jacob Wilson had gotten traded, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think that they've been making a lot of smart moves. And so the team is going to be in a pretty decent position come going into Las Vegas. And I think it's the 2029 season, their stadium will be ready. And I think that the A's do something to go into Vegas with a bang that I think also makes mad the fans that suffered in Oakland for so long, begging them for a decent product.
I like it. Now, here's the last question from our audience. What do you think about the Royals this season? This is from our guy John, who is with the Pitch Good podcast.
I live in Wichita. I've been to a lot of Royals game. Personally, the K is my favorite baseball park to watch a game at. It's beautiful. The people are great. The food is good. So I like that area. And I like that ballpark. I think, getting Salvador Perez back for another year is a good thing. Vinny Pasquantino, Jonathan India, Michael Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., Isaac Collins, Jack Caglione, Kyle Isbell. Like that's a lineup. That's a solid lineup. Carter Jensen, that is a solid lineup. And the AL Central is more wide open than I think people realize. Like Detroit is so boomer bust this year, it is not even funny. And that puts the Royals in a good position, but they're also going to be good enough that even if Detroit does take that division, they can still jostle for one of those wild card slots. And I think that we see them make some noise. I don't think that the Royals are going to be a quiet team this year. I think as long as they stay healthy, they can definitely contend for the Central.
I like it. Tony, let everybody know where they can find you, my friend.
Tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern on Wire to Wire Sports, YouTube and Facebook. We are going to be going live with podcast named for the start of the new season. Craig, Ando, Erica, and my buddy Dan Warner are going to be with us. We're going to be talking about the start of the year and kind of starting to break things down, get ready for the World Baseball Classic. You can also go onto TikTok at FGD and then 7 spelled out. I do the morning minute pretty much every morning. I had to take a few days off because I had some mental health stuff, but it's coming back. I did one today, and I have another one dropping in the morning. And we're gonna, we're just gonna be talking about baseball every day. I would love for you to support us, but also please make sure that you're liking, comment, and subscribing to the Sportz Nutz, because these guys are fantastic, and I love watching the show every chance I get.
Brother, I appreciate you always, man. Tony, we're gonna have you on again. You and I talked. Let's do it. What we talked about every Wednesday. Have you come on and talk some baseball. Sound good, my friend?
I'm down. I'll see you next week.
Awesome, brother. Take care, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good day, guys.
Oh man, that was so cool to have him on. Like that. See, that kind of stuff right there is what means the most. So let's continue on with this amazing show. I want to say welcome to all of the people who are tuning in right now. Again, thank you guys so much. It really does mean the world. This is a special 2-hour long episode. So Matt, Shane, we have the numbers. Wait, what numbers are you talking about? Well, the viewership numbers for the 25th Winter Olympics, and they are stunningly beautiful, might I add. According to the Nielsen report, this Winter Olympics were the most watched Winter Olympics since 2014 and the third most watched ever Winter Olympics. And look, guys, we agree. There's been so many amazing athletes and some spectacular performances. Ones that actually leave us with that lasting memory of like, man, that I got to witness that on TV. What does this say to you both and everybody tuning in about the Winter Olympics? And are you guys getting excited for the 2030 Winter Olympics, which will be held in the French Alps? I'm going to start with you, Shane.
Well, man, it's great. The compassion and the camaraderie that you get to see during the Olympic events, whether it be winter or summer. It's what we bleed, the red, white, and blue during these times. So, it was great to see the success that we had this year. A lot of young athletes coming back for us. So it's definitely going to be interesting 2030 Olympics there in the French Alps. So, I'm kind of interested to see, what all their, all the excitement and new things that they add, because they add normally one or two new sports in
Yep.
for competition every Olympics. So it'd be interesting to see that, always going to watch them and pull for the USA.
Amen on that one. And Matt, just so in case you're wondering, the numbers for both the men's and the women's hockey, they're staggering. The men's, you already hear this, y'all? The men's viewership numbers, 85 million people tuned in to watch the men's. You already hear the women. Now, the women is what's really got me going excited about. 74.3 million people tuned in to watch the women win the gold. That's over almost 160 million people to watch hockey alone. That's amazing. That's exciting to hear that. What does that mean to you, Matt, knowing that this is the third most watched ever Winter Olympics?
Well, man, it says that the Winter Olympics still matter. When you see numbers like that, the most watched, since 2014 and the third most ever, it proves that people still crave global competition and storylines, bigger than leagues. The Olympics just hit different, man. Flags, pride, underdogs, generational moments. And yes, absolutely excited for the 2030 Winter Olympics in the French Alps, man. That setting alone is going to be insane visually.
And just so you guys know this, I'm going to give you guys a quick trivia question. We'll go to the next one. And I'm going to start with you, Shane. When was the last time any Olympics, summer or winter, was held in America?
Would have been Salt Lake.
What about you, Matt? What do you think?
Yeah, Salt Lake. I'm pretty sure it was Salt Lake, but prior to that, it was it Atlanta prior to that?
So you both hit the nail on the head. The last time the Winter Olympics were held in America was Salt Lake, but the last time Matt hit the nail on the head perfectly. The last time the Olympics ever, but like with the summer, was '96 in Atlanta, and they're going to be held in LA, and only 864 days away from getting the chance to watch the Summer Olympics in LA. Really excited, and then
just 864 days away. Oh, that's right around the corner.
It really is, and with the Olympic terms, it comes like that. So,
episode 500 that time.
right. But more than that, man.
Yeah, we'll be episode 864 if we.
That's great.
That. All right, so let's go to the next one. The season of college basketball. God, the atmosphere has been one for the ages. So many major upsets, so many great games. So it got me thinking, what is the best environment for college basketball? Like, who does it the best? The fans, their traditions, the sights, the smells, everything. And I want you guys to give me your top four. And I want you to rate them, 4 being the lowest, 1 being the greatest. So I'm going to start with you, Matt. Give us your 4 best college basketball environments.
First, for number 4, I'm gonna go with Allen Fieldhouse. That's the Kansas Jayhawks. Historic, loud, championship DNA. 3, you go to Rupp Arena. Kentucky Wildcats, blue blood energy. Expectations are sky high every night. 2, you got to go with Cameron Indoor.
Crazies.
The Cameron Crazies. They're different, man. Period. They're just different. And number 1, you got to go with the Ding Dome, North Carolina, man. The banners, the pageantry, and the Carolina blue. It just feels like college basketball royalty, especially with Michael Jordan associated with that.
I love it. All right, Shane, give us your 4.
Let's see. I'm definitely going to go. My number 4 is going to be kind of a homer deal with Castle Coliseum. It's kind of built down. You kind of walk in, you're already 40, 50 rows up, and just kind of the dome just kind of gets on you. My number 3, I'm going to go with another dome, the Carrier Dome, with Syracuse playing there.
Did you look at my notes or something? Jeez.
No, not on this one. But definitely the Carrier Dome. It's especially during big matchups when they really pack the house out there. It's fun to watch. My number two, I forgot the name of it, but Indiana's court. Seeing them come out in the striped warm ups and everything else. It's very interesting to watch. A lot of tradition there as well. And number one, of course, is going to be Cameron. It's just such a unique place between the talent that's on the floor there most all the time, and the crazies. And you put them in that small gym together, pack it out, it gets wild. So it's definitely number one in my book.
So mine is kind of my number 4 one. I like the Carrier Dome. I was actually going to say that as well. I think there'd be my number 4 because there have been some really good ones. But then I'm going to say Madison Square Garden. I can't believe neither one of you said that during the Big East Championship tournament. That place is unbelievably loud. It's amazing. Then the Dean Dome, as Matt said. But I have a tie for 2 because I've seen it. Is the Stan Sheriff Center at Bank of Hawaii Arena. University of Hawaii plays there. It's pretty cool because they play when they introduce the players, they play Hawaii 5-0. So that dun, 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 and they surf. They have a cheerleader surf it. It's really cool. And the number 1 that definitely goes to Cameron. Cameron does it differently. Matt hit the nail on the head. Shane's hit the nail on the head. We've all hit the nail on the head. They're the Cameron crazies. They're just different. It's like they're bred differently. They're loud. They're obnoxious. They don't stow away from any of their traditions. It really is amazing. So I'm glad what do you guys think about in the comments? We'd love to hear your thoughts on that one. All right. So as you guys heard from our good friend Tony, baseball is back. This season could be one to remember most, mainly also because the fact that we're most likely going to see a lockout. Boo. So I'm going to start with you, Shane. Which team or teams are you going to watch as far as turning heads? Not just because your team is the Atlanta Braves, but this team is going to make. Which team or teams are going to make the splashes, and which one do you think is going to lay the goose eggs?
Man, it's just exciting to get into it. We're in the spring training pretty good. A few games in already. As Tony mentioned with us, man, it's an offensive kind of showdown during spring training. I can't remember seeing so many double-digit score games this early in the spring training. But man, I can tell you, I'm always going to be looking at what the Braves do, and I think, barring being bit by the injury bug as much as we were last year, I think they could come out and turn some heads. It's just a matter that they have the lineup there, the talent. It could be one of those teams. Everything starts going good, and you're like, oh well, Dodgers are definitely going to have some competition this year.
Who lays the goose egg in your eyes?
One thing that I'm with on Tony, I could see it, especially the Yankees laying a goose egg with their lineup, their talent, and what they've been able to do in the past with that talent. They could come out and really lay an egg, and you don't lay an egg in the market of New York at all. Unless you're the Mets, which is really not a bad thing. but man, I think that they could definitely. But I think a lot of these young teams like Pittsburgh and the Athletics, as Tony was mentioning, they're young, they have talent, and they could make a splash. Just for how long, as he alluded to.
I agree, and the team that I think absolutely is going to fall flat on their face, and they do it every year. This team is synonymous with epic collapses. That's the New York Mets. You could go and spend $5 trillion, and they'd still blunder away the opportunity to play in the playoffs. Always, it's for whatever reason it's them. And and you're right. You don't get very far in the New York sports market if you stink up the joint. And if you stink it up, people are gonna be like, I don't want to go cheer them on. I don't want to cheer them on there. And it brings me back to this. And I guarantee you, Matt probably remembers this just like you do, Shane. Do you remember on Family Guy when Stewie said, this is more as enjoyable as watching the Cubs? And they go, welcome to open day home run. Well, there goes the season. That was literally what it seems like with the Mets. It's always been that way. But the team I think could absolutely make headway, really turn heads. You alluded to this too, Shane. Matt has alluded to it. Is the Cubs. I think the Cubs, if everything falls just right in there with them, they could absolutely be the team that you got to sit there and say, man, they're going places, and they're going places in a heartbeat. What about you, Shane? I mean, Matt? Dadgummit, I'm looking at you and I call you Shane. What about you? Who do you think can turn heads this year in baseball, and who do you think can lay goose eggs?
Well, me and Shane do favor each other if the light is shining in a particular way. I don't know, man. I mean,
whatever.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm gonna be watching a lot of the young teams. Teams on the verge. Teams that might not win at all, but teams that are like about to turn heads. And of course, somebody has to try to knock off the Dodgers, man. But baseball is weird. I mean, that's
Matt has frozen.
A hot bullpen in October can change everything for any team. So I don't know, man. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Did you guys hear what I said?
Yeah, we heard you.
Okay, awesome. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm looking at teams like Detroit Tigers. They have kind of like they have a stacked group of position players, man, and players on the farm and in the majors. The Royals. I want to see what the Royals are going to do. The Diamondbacks. Orioles. Will the Mets have another?
Did you say
collapse?
Oreos? Did you say
man.
Oreos?
I said Orioles.
You said Oreo.
I said Orioles, man. I said
See,
it must be the glitchy factor.
No,
right
it's
now.
that northern accent you got.
Orioles.
The Oreos.
Oreos. OLES. O's.
Oh my goodness.
Well, nah, man. Want to see if the Mets are going to have another collapse. Another collapse as they do, man. And I'm also going to be watching the Brewers too, man. See what the Brewers can do. But
there you go, Matt. This is from our audience. You did say Oreos.
Oh man. Hey guys, it's been a long week, so hey.
I love it. Oh, Shane, we already went to you, didn't we? I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that's an age.
No, that's because I'm literally watching. So I'm not going to show you because my wife she's coming downstairs right now, but she's going back and forth taking all the laundry, and it distracted me. All right, so now the next topic is I'm a huge helmet collector. I really am. I love sporting helmets, football, hockey. I even have a couple of baseball helmets, and this is true. But with so many good helmet designs out there, it did get me wondering, who do y'all think has the best helmet designs? Neither one of you can say this one team because they have 255 billion different combinations. And everybody knows who that is. That's the University of Oregon. So excluding Oregon, Matt, give me your top 5 helmet designs. It can be college. It can be pro. It can be hockey. I mean, heck, if you want to, you can even use baseball. Who do you think has the top 5 helmets?
Top 5. You know what? Number 5, I'm gonna go with the Michigan Wolverines. Classic winged helmet. It's timeless. Number 4, give me the Las Vegas Raiders, man. Silver and black is iconic. Just that's it. Man.
Right? It's the Yetas.
Yeah. Nothing extravagant, nothing crazy. Number 3, though, this one is kind of crazy. Give me the Tampa Bay Buck creamsicle helmets, man.
Oh,
give me the creamsicle.
I'm surprised you said those things are hideous. I feel
I like the creamsicles, man.
I like I like the Buccaneer, but I just don't like that color.
The creamsicle one with the pirate with the little knife in his mouth.
Yeah, it's the Buccaneer. The Buccaneer. Yeah.
Number 2, man. Give me the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, man. The gold shine under the lights is crazy whenever they play. But number 1, and you know what? I think you're gonna be surprised that I say this one, but I like these helmets. They're clean, sharp, and they got a nice championship look to them. But the Pittsburgh Penguins, man, I like their helmets. It's black and gold. That's it.
I'm so disappointed in you.
Hey man, Hey, man.
What about you, Shane? Give us your top 5.
Let's see. Number 5. I like something about the old school Miami Dolphin helmet with the dolphin actually wearing the helmet and everything else. That's an iconic one. Um, the Army Navy game helmets would be
Those are
my
the
number
best.
4. Man, they have completely upped the game and changed the level of what you need to do for special games.
They give
At
Oregon a run
least,
for the money, that's for sure.
yeah, at least the past 3 years for sure. So that's my number 4. Number 3. As much as I hate to say it, I'm gonna go with Matt on the Notre Dame with the gold flake. That's just iconic and it is a symbol. Number 2. Oh boy, number 2. I like the UNC, the white UNC with the logo on it. It's just something about that powder blue and white that pops. It's a great combination. Not one that I'd particularly root for, but it's a good one. uh, and number 1. I'm gonna have to go with just the simplistic Penn State. That white and blue with the blue stripe hasn't changed. Don't know if it'll ever change, really. So, man, that's kind of one of the traditional ones that kind of stick out to me the most, especially during one of those whiteout games there in Happy Valley.
Oh yeah. My favorite 5, my top 5, my first one, I like it's kind of got a double edge on this one. I like Buffalo. I like the old school red helmet Buffalo Bills had, and I like the new whiteout helmets they have. Those two were pretty cool looking. The number 4, I like Seattle Seahawks, but not the current one. I like the one they had the green mixed into it. That was pretty cool how they had the green this year in it. Then, of course, number 3, I like the Tampa Bay Lightning just because it's just a straight, simplistic. Although I will say this, Andre Vasilevsky, he's got some crazy designs on his helmets. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go look on eBay, Google, whatever. Just type in Andre Vasilevsky, Tampa Bay Lightning helmet. Dude, it changes a lot. He has like 25 different combinations. It's really cool. My number 2, and I'm going to say this, Matt, because I like the matted look, but I love it with Ohio. University of Ohio has the thick matted green helmets that has the Bobcat logo. It's really cool. And I'm going to have to be a homer on this one is the Atlanta Falcons. We're supposed to see a new set of uniforms and helmets. And Matt, have you seen the leaked reds that have come out? They're supposedly they're going to be a red on red with the grayish pants from the old school back when Jamal Anderson with the red lining in the middle, but they have 2 different logos with the old school Atlanta Falcons logo on the leg, but on the hip area, it's going to be the new Falcons logo.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing those are my 5. Those are my top 5. I'm really excited to see what transpires. Let us know in the comments what you think. All right, Shane, you have a sports story. Go ahead, man.
Oh yeah, well, I want to take a moment and talk. We're getting down to less than 25 games left in the NBA season, and we're looking at the MVP race. And this rule that the NBA has, where you have to play 65 games before you can actually win the MVP. So we're looking at some big names that were leading the conversation. You got SGA, who's sitting out another game tonight. I think he can only make 6 more games in the remaining 22 that they have to still be eligible for the MVP. Let's see, Joker. He can only miss 2 more games. And then he's out the consideration. Luka, I think, can only miss 3 more games, and he's out of consideration. So that kind of leaves the door open for some of these other guys. Wembyamba, he's been hurt, but he's got a chance to do it. Let's see, Cade Cunningham. Those are probably the top 2 names that are kind of have a better grip on not surpassing that 65 game mark, may I say, a little bit better. But them, and then you got Jaylen Brown. But man, it's coming down with the injuries and and everything that we've seen in the NBA. The MVP odds are going to go crazy, and if you really think about it, man, you're looking at Victor sitting there at plus 2,000 odds to win it right now, and if he has a good rest of his season, and these guys miss more games, definitely can see that happen, and especially with Joker only needing 2 more games to sit out, not to be eligible, and then SGA being right there on that precipice too.
I like that. But it's still weird to think that you only have 2 more left of Jokic to miss out on any opportunities for it. But I like that too, because you shouldn't have to be you shouldn't be allowed to set out all the time just because you don't want to play. I mean, this is a team sport. There is no I in team. Just saying.
Yeah,
all right,
well,
Matt.
I think they made the rule basically to kind of discourage teams from load management and stuff like that.
Ding,
But
ding, ding.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
it's definitely coming back to bite them. So look in the near future for them to possibly change the rule, maybe lower the game total and stuff like that. Because even if you go 60 games, it's still around 73% of the games that they play. So if you get it somewhere in that range, it makes it more realistic for the stars, even if they do get injured.
60 is good. 60 is definitely good.
All right, Matt, give us your sports story.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Tonight, I want to talk about Jonathan Kuminga, and I don't want to start with Atlanta. I want to start with Golden State. For those who don't know, he came into the league drafted by the Warriors, a franchise that wasn't rebuilding. They were still trying to win championships, and that matters, because when you're a young player drafted into a contender, development looks different. There's no freedom to just figure it out on the floor. Every possession matters. Every defensive rotation matters. If you miss a read, you sit. You make a mistake, you sit. And Jonathan Kuminga went through all of that. There were nights where he flashed like unreal, insane athleticism, chase down blocks, transition dunks, moments where you're like, oh, he's special. But then also there were nights when, he disappeared. And it wasn't because he didn't care. It's because the Warriors system is layered. Motion offense, timing, defensive communication, playing next to veterans like Steph Curry, Draymond, Clay. It's not simple. It's structured. It's precise. It's like a hot knife through butter. But you're not playing basketball. You're executing philosophy. That's where that's where stretches where. Well, those were the stretches where fans like questioned his role. Was he a cornerstone or was he just trade bait? Was he just an athletic big who haven't fully developed? And through all that, his minutes fluctuated. His confidence probably did too. But what's interesting is this. Golden State forced him to learn defense, to move without the ball, to understand spacing, to guard multiple positions. He wasn't allowed to be just a scorer. And it wasn't a glamorous development. It was a disciplined development. And sometimes, that feels frustrating for a young player, who knows he can give you 20 every night, but, he's sitting, or, every time he makes a mistake on Mr. Reed, he has to sit, He wasn't awarded the same opportunity as other players in his draft class was, and so, then the move came, the trade happened, it wasn't dramatic. Yeah, it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It wasn't here, there. It wasn't like this, just felt inevitable. His first game in Atlanta wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about proving the Warriors wrong. It felt like a player who had been sharpened quietly, now stepping into a little bit more oxygen. No fireworks, no 40-piece. It was just control. I think he was 7 for 12. And maybe that's what Golden State gave him. No superstardom, no instant validation. But structure. And sometimes structure is what turns potential into something deadly. So all I want to say, after saying all that is, thank you, Golden State. Thank you.
Well, I don't know if you've also seen Twitter as of late, Matt, but the entire Twitterverse is demanding the Atlanta Hawks to sign Kuminga to a bigger deal because the dude's legit.
Oh, you hear that?
Yep. No, wait, Matt.
That is Brandon?
Atlanta Hawks have signed Kuminga to a 5-year, $500 million
No. A 5-year back up the Brinks truck type deal, whatever. You get whatever you want. This so much eases the blow from the Risha Shea debacle. It eases the blow. And so, man, but then again, I can't say that about Risha Shea. He's only 20. It's the second year in the league. He got a long way to go.
That Twitterverse, though, man, they want Kuminga. See, I want him too. I like him. I'm thoroughly impressed. And did you hear what Bob said about him too? By the way,
what's that?
Him and Bob and Neek both said this was the absolute biggest steal in quite some time for the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, it was. Oh, trust me, it was. It makes up for them trading Trey.
But you know what Neek said also? Neek said it was almost as if somebody made their birthday cake and then they gave it to the Atlanta Hawks for free. And it was like a $500 million cake and they gave it to him for free. I mean, that is what is going on. And he has done amazing things in just his short couple of games that he's played. Well, I'm really impressed.
No, man, we're gonna get that first pick because you know how it goes. You trade your superstar, you get a first pick. That's how the NBA works. So we got that first pick coming, fellas. So we got Darren Peterson, that in the backcourt. Oh my God, Kuminga. Oh my gosh, and then we didn't even mention, the new unicorn. My man JJ. So, hey man, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, real quick, I want to let everybody know we do have some breaking news. And this is real breaking news. The New York Yankees are going to retire CC Sabathia's jersey. He'll be the 24th ever player for the New York Yankees to be retired. He'll take place on September the 26th. That's really big news right there. Absolutely, really big news. Congratulations to CC Sabathia. Well deserved. The dude absolutely deserves it. He's one heck of an athlete. Great pitcher, everything. So really appreciate it on learning on that one. We're doing good. Thank you for tuning in, Ando. We really do appreciate you. So my sports story is absolutely it's kind of interesting to say the least on this one. Did you guys see what's going on with what Cincinnati is doing to their now former quarterback? Sorsby left to transfer to Texas Tech. Well, Cincinnati is suing him for over a $1 million exit fee. That just goes to show if teams are starting to get a little agitated because you're racking in this NIL and then you're saying, bye, I'm leaving. No, you got to pay that back to me. Because remember, I don't know if you remember this, Matt and Shane. It was 3 years ago. A player commits to Iowa. He commits to Alabama, gets an NIL deal, says, oh, no, I'm leaving to go to Iowa, goes to Iowa, gets an NIL deal. Oh, never mind, I changed my mind, I'm going back to Alabama, goes back to Alabama. This all happened in like a 2-week period and got another NIL deal with an Alabama organization. Well, guess what? Iowa got smart and said, no, we're going to sue you for all that NIL funds. So I think it was like a $16 million he was supposed to accrue with all the NIL funds. Guess how much he ended up making? Zero. He had to pay all of it back. So I think teams are starting to get a little smart, and rightfully so, because you shouldn't be able just to go wherever you willy-nilly want to, and then just say the heck with your team. So that's my short story. There'll be a lot more that'll come out about that. So just stay tuned on that one. Now comes our favorite segment. It is the I still miss Matt doing the thing when we had the tequilas ad. That was still pretty good. So what we do is we will give you guys usually 1 to 3 sports stories that usually the mainstream media doesn't cover enough of or doesn't cover. But since today is our 200th episode, we're switching it and going 2 to 5 stories. So my first one is I'm going to give a huge shout out to the University of North Carolina as they are 16-0 at home. They came off a big win against Louisville where they won 77-74. That's pretty impressive to be 16-0 at home. I mean, you don't see that nowadays on that one. So, all right, Shane, give us your first honorable mention, sir.
My first honorable mention is going to go out to Jonte Porter. Name might sound familiar to you guys. Was banned from the NBA for his role in a gambling scam, which he pled guilty to federal charges related to that. But he is signed with the United States Basketball League to play with the Seattle team that they have, the Superhawks. So congratulations to him getting back into the game.
Not gonna lie, when I saw that, I actually had to read that article because I was like, wait a second, that's not the Atlanta Hawks. Because they had what is his name? The Harry the Hawk, not the Harry Hawk, Super Hawk. Remember him? He used to be during the 90s when you had Dikembe and all that stuff. That's what I was thinking for a second. But then I was like, wait, no. I think it was Skyhawk. Sorry, that's Skyhawk. It's the College Park Skyhawks is what I was kind of having to think for a second. But I like that's a good story, Shane. All right, Matt, give us your first honorable mention, please.
My first honorable mention was going to go to I think it was about 4 or 5 days ago, to Sacramento State's pitcher Ethan Lay. Man, he had a career high 13 strikeouts, while flirting with a perfect game. So shout out to Ethan Lay from Sacramento State.
I love that's awesome. I have a my next honorable mention. I actually have 2 in 1. My first one is our guy Chase Cravey from Dirty Fan Action. I had my cousin and him do a podcast. They're expecting their 3rd child. He just made the announcement literally 7 minutes ago. So congratulations to Chase and his wife Destiny for welcoming. They're going to be welcoming their 3rd child. That's really exciting. They don't know if it's a boy or girl, because he has 2 boys, and 3's a crowd kind of thing. But my next honorable mention was going to be, I know Shane mentioned this recently, but shout out to Gunnar Rivers, the son of the soon-to-be Hall of Famer Phillip Rivers, a 4-star recruit. He is following in his dad's footsteps, and he is doing a big move. He is actually committed to NC State. Could we see the Rivers family tree, like the Manning family tree in football? We shall see. Remember, Phillip Rivers only has 35 kids. So I'm just saying. I know he has 12, but we might see. So we'll see. All right, Shane, give us your next honorable mention, please.
My next honorable mention is going to go to the Duke Blue Devils. Saw them win a close game against Michigan there in Washington, D.C., but they went to Notre Dame last night and won by 44. I think the score was 100-56 or something like that. This is Notre Dame's worst home basketball loss since 1898. Yes,
that was a long time ago.
Yes, but Duke, they got the number 1 ranking, and they proved it last night for sure. So they look to be getting on a little hot streak at the right time going into tournament play.
That's right, man. To coin Matt's phrase, that's a mollywhopping. All right, Matt, give us your next honorable mention, please.
Well, when the Milwaukee Bucks came into the season, everybody thought, they were, be good, because if you have Giannis, you're going to be good. But Giannis has been in and out of the lineup with injury, and the Bucks have been sliding. Well, the Milwaukee Bucks just strung together one of the best stretches of the season, all in part due to Kevin Porter Jr. For those who don't know who Kevin Porter Jr. is, he was one of those quote unquote knuckleheads that couldn't stay out of trouble. Kept getting in trouble. He came in the league with Houston, got in trouble. I don't know. I think he might have been with Denver. I can't remember.
Yeah, he was with Denver.
Denver. He got shipped off to Houston, got in trouble again, got in a couple of domestic violence cases. Was involved in that, Then
Didn't he have one with Charlotte too?
Yes, he did.
Jeez.
And then he ended up going to playing in China, whatever. But now he came back with Milwaukee. He got another chance, probably because his dad played in the league. But, got another chance. And he's a good player. Now, don't get me wrong. Kevin Porter Jr. is a good player. Definitely a first-round pick. Should have went hired. But, due to stuff coming out of college, the same thing. But, he had 32 points, 7 boards, 7 assists, and he's been playing very well for the Bucks, who, like I said, strung together some of their best performances of the season. So shout out to Kevin Porter Jr. Just keep it up, man. Grow up. Don't get flagged in the game of life anymore. And man, just follow the rules, buddy, and you'll be okay.
Exactly. My third shout out is going to be the University of Miami of Ohio for winning their 28th straight game against Eastern Michigan University. And then there were 4. Only 4 games remain, and they could be the first team to win 31 or more games in a row, finish the season undefeated, truly undefeated, with over 30 wins since the 70s. With, what do you guys call me? Who is the coach you call me the most, Matt?
That'll be a Bob Knight.
Yeah, Bob Knight and the Indiana Hoosiers, 1975-76, went 32-0, ended up winning the entire season that year, went undefeated the entire season. So really, really proud of what Miami of Ohio is doing. And then my next honor mention, because I told you I had multiple. So my next one is going to be shout out to the second half of the NHL season. After this really long break, we are about to see all the NHL athletes get going, and the first one starts tonight. It's already underway, and that is with Tampa Bay taking on Toronto. Tampa Bay is up 2-0 at this point. So those are my next two honorable mentions. Sean, dadgummit, Brandon, Shane, give us yours.
Well, I'm gonna do one for Matt, and go ahead and do this. Because it came out today that Andrew Berry has put Shador and Deshaun Watson still in the mix for QB1 coming season.
Don't give us that look, Matt. Don't give us that look.
It's very exciting to see. New head coach Todd Monken said today that he has the talent, and you see it. And you see that, he said what rookie doesn't struggle, especially when you're playing against the greatest athletes in the country, in the world. So shout out to Shador and us being in that mix, and the Browns actually saying that they're going to have a competition instead of just go ahead and naming a starter.
That's not really fair, because Deshaun Watson's paid like 8 games in the last 5 years combined. So I think we're going to go ahead and just tap it to Matt's boy there. So, all right, Matt, give us your next honorable mention.
Hey, man, you're not my boy. I just call it how it is, man. You're
over here doing this the whole time.
Hey, look, this will probably be my last one, but it's a big one. It's a doozy. Breezy Johnson, Team USA's figure skating team, the whole team. Elizabeth Lemley, Jordan Stoltz, Elena Myers-Taylor, Michaela Schriffen. The whole women's ice hockey team, Elisa Liu, Kayla Kuhn, Connor Coran, and Christopher Lillis. These are all the USA gold medal winners from these past Olympics. So,
did you mention the men's hockey team too, there, sir?
Let me finish. Let me finish. Shout out to all of those particular winners, and also shout out to the men's hockey team. You guys, heck of a job representing the country. And keep it up.
Absolutely, I love it. My final honorable mention, shout out to the Sacramento Kings. Why would I give them a shout out, Matt? Because they finally ended the losing streak that seemed like it was never going to end. They lost 16 games in a row, and they ended that losing streak by beating the hapless Memphis Grizzlies 123-114. Dadgum, and the Kings, they absolutely got bit with whatever issues they have. I mean, literally, your entire roster is not playing, and out. So that's my final honorable mention. Shane, give us your final honorable mention, please.
My final honorable mention is a story that ESPN has got going on right now. That I was able to catch a little bit of a glimpse of, but it's the secret history behind the Black Mamba stuff with Kobe. When Jordan was designing, I believe it was the Air Jordan 19, Nike was coming up with a campaign and wanted to use a snakeskin design, and it was offered to Jordan to do it. But what a lot of people didn't know was that he declined because he is deathly afraid of snakes. Mamba mentality, Kobe Bryant, that could have never happened if Jordan wasn't afraid of snakes. So, I encourage y'all to check out that special and read up on it. It's pretty interesting to look at.
That's funny you mentioned that. I literally just saw the article as you mentioned.
Same
I'm
here.
like, that's exactly what he was just talking about. And
Same here.
it's
I saw
on
it on ESPN.
It's on ESPN. It says
Yeah.
the secret Kobe Bryant Michael
Yep.
Jordan connection few
Yep.
knew about.
Yeah, I just saw it, man.
I just saw that.
Yeah, they played a nice little clip on ESPN earlier about it. So.
Oh man, that's so funny that Matt, you and I both looked at it at the exact same time. We're like, yeah. Oh man. Hey, real quick, did you guys know that in case you're living under a rock, something major happened last night in college baseball? Shane, you happen to know what happened, don't you?
Oh no, I was out last night pretty early.
Well, I'm glad I can refresh your mind. There were 5 upsets back to back. And one of them included Matt's team.
Top 10 upsets or
yes,
top 15? Yeah,
top 10. Yeah, Georgia Tech was one of them. I mean, there are so, but you know, if you guys need an argument to watch college baseball, that would be the time to do it because little brothers, they're starting to play. So, you know, we're in for a one heck of a college baseball and one heck of a college softball season. Matt, do you have any more honorable mentions you'd like to give, sir?
Nah, that'll be it, man. I'm out.
He's tapped out on that one. Guys, this has been absolutely an amazing episode 200. We did it. I want to let everybody know also, we will also want to be starting to cover NCAA March Madness. There is a clip that is floating around, and I want you guys to also know that while it was with CBS that did it a couple years back when Furman upset Virginia, the best call, bar none, was when Dan Scott, and I was the reason why I say it was good because I was producing that game, and it was one of the most amazing moments that I have ever seen. I'm actually going to play it. I don't own the rights to this, but I want you guys to watch. This is Dan Scott. I was the producer of this, so I captured this call, and here it is.
Again, we do not own the rights to this clip.
We don't own the rights. We don't own the rights, but this is our good friend Dan Scott, and this is why we say when I tell you March Madness is coming, you're about to hear some cool things. Here it is for your listening and viewing pleasure.
Gets it in. Gets it back with 10. Clark double teamed along the baseline. Throws it up the floor. Intercepted by Haynes. McGee's for 3. And the win. He got it with 2.2 to go. 68-67 Paladins. Virginia calls its final timeout.
Yes. When I will tell you this, and this is a true fact, when so the guy I was with at the studio, Lonzo, he is the executive producer. He said, watch, he's going to hit this. They're going to win it. And I'm like, you think? He's like, yeah, they're going to do something crazy and win it. I'm like, I hope. And he said, just be ready and make sure you have an extra cool edit pulled up. I did. And then when the play happened, both Lonzo and I were like, oh my God. And then JP Pegues hits the 3-pointer. I jumped out of my chair. Lonzo goes, oh, as loud as humanly possible. And he goes, make sure you get that. Make sure you got that. And I was the one that captured Dan's call. But it was such an exciting time. Just so you guys know, we're only a couple of weeks, not even Matt, exactly what's 2 weeks, right? A little over 2 weeks. And then we're into the thick of it. So stay tuned for March Madness. This is here. So guys, we had a very amazing episode. So much fun. It was a real honor to have our guy Tony come on and talk some baseball with us. As you guys heard, he'll come on Wednesdays and talk a little baseball with us more. I mean, what this is the sports, and people are talking sports. So we have our guy Marcus come on, and then we have our guy Tony come on. It's nice to have friends come on and talk what we love, which is baseball and basketball, football, hockey, everything. So we love it. But I really want to say thank you to everybody who has tuned in over these 200 episodes, letting us be on your screens, let us be in your ears, everything. It really does mean a lot to us. So as Matt already alluded to, 200 down, another 200, another 100 to go to hit 300. We are going to be there thick and thin with all of you. So here's what we got coming up next. Episode 201 will be this Friday, the 27th. Our good friend Peter Blake of the Sports Web will be returning. He is going to give us his expectations for the upcoming NFL draft. Who could be a steal? Who could be a bust? He will share. And then we have episode 202, Monday, the 2nd of March. And then episode 203 will be Wednesday, March the 4th. And then episode 204, which is season 5 finale, will be Friday, March the 6th. There is a chance I will be broadcasting from Roswell, Georgia. We're discussing about possibly coming down to spend time with my mom and also get a chance to celebrate Addison's birthday with family friends that are down there. So if not, I'll still be up here. I'm still going to be on no matter what, but there's a chance I could be in Roswell, just to give you a heads up on that one. Then we will take a well-deserved break from the show, and we will return back on Monday, March the 16th with episode 205. We have Kai Carlin of the USA Today, who is exclusively the beat writer for the Philadelphia 76ers. He's coming on our show as a guest. Matt, I believe I gave you his information. If not, I will give it to you. There we also have Ralph, who will be filling in with us. I'm having knee replacement surgery on March the 12th, which is Thursday the 12th. So he will be filling in as well. There is a good chance you'll see Matt, myself, Shane, and Ralph just all there because I'm coming off of having surgery. So stay tuned for that one. We have already started booking our guests for March and beyond, and you're not going to want to miss anything because we have a lot in store. We're going to be covering the NFL draft. We're going to be covering baseball. Shane most likely is going to be going to a couple Asheville tourist game. Matt might be going to some Gwinnett Stripers, Atlanta Braves. You never know what we have in store. We have a lot, so stay tuned for that. With that being said, for everybody who tuned in to our 200th episode, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Shane, give your final goodbye, sir.
Oh yeah, well, as always, man, we appreciate everybody out there watching, listening to us. Being able to bend your ear has been a privilege, especially for 200 episodes. Just want to shout out you, Brandon, and you, Matt, for kicking this thing off and being dedicated to it and consistent. That's one of the things we always strive for.
Legend has it.
What was to be consistent. So shout out to y'all, especially for this monumental kind of moment in our young podcasting careers, I guess you could say. But man, we appreciate it. All the likes, the follows, the subscribes, the comments. We want to hear more from you guys. So. Definitely interested to see what the next 200 episodes have for us, if not the next 500, as we were talking about getting ready for the Olympics. So, but as always, I tell you, may the good Lord bless you. Peace, love, and bacon grease.
Peace, love, and bacon grease indeed. All right, Matt, give your final goodbyes, sir.
No, man, exactly, man. Just to piggyback off of Shane, man, guys, just continue to like, subscribe, continue to help us grow our numbers, continue to follow us on social media. Hopefully, we'll get a lot bigger on social media. I got to get more active, though. But yeah, I know, right, man? Everybody says I got to get more active on social media, man. I do nothing on social media, guys. I do nothing.
It's not even air. We have it linked to air on your Facebook page, and you're not even letting it even air.
Yeah, man. I mean, geez, I gotta get back. I gotta get on the ball when it comes to social media, man. But man, guys, what I say, man. What I've been saying all year. Just play by the rules, and you will be rewarded. Don't get caught up in the game of life. Don't get flagged. Doing some crazy stuff, man. Just continue to, do what you need to do. The last thing you want to do is be out there getting caught. Got the whoops following you, and it's tragic. It's tragic. It's the middle of the week. I had to look at the time real quick. It's not Friday yet. So
he was Friday. He was looking.
Yeah. So just guys, just do what you got to do, man. Just stay out of trouble and be blessed.
Yes, absolutely. As Matt alluded to start the show, this is the Three Musketeers. What was that movie? Where they go three? Was it the Three Caballeros? I can't remember what it was.
No, Three Ninjas.
No, Shane. What was it? It was with Steve Martin.
Ninjas, that was a movie.
Yeah, it was Steve Martin.
Three Ninjas Kick Back.
Martin Short and one other person. I think it was Billy Crystal. It was the three of them. It was something. It's an old movie. But yes, this is the three. You see us here where we have been through this, through thick and thin, and we thank you guys so much for letting us bend your ear for the amount of time we have. So stay tuned for our good friend Ralph Williams, RW Media. He is live, I believe, tomorrow. So check him out. Give him a subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. As I always tell you guys, peace up, A-Town down. Why? It's the greatest sports city there ever was. You guys have a fantastic evening. We will be back with you on Friday. We made it to Friday. Till then.
Oh God, that song Friday.
Yeah,
Friday.
That's why I sing it, Matt.
Oh God.
Had to sing it.
Forgot all about that.
But guys, we appreciate each and every one of you. We will talk to you on Friday. Until then, enjoy this outro. I know it's an old one, but it's a good one because Matt made it, and all of the stuff he makes is good. Shorts. Y'all have a good night. Take care.